Howdy everyone, and welcome back to Royville in 4-Color. My name is Stefan, and we're going back to the Blood Hunt. Yep, Marvel's big crossover event. Some issues are better than others. Tonight, I've got 3 of them for you. Sorry, there's a little piece of hair that's like in my eye here. Alright, so I'm going to probably go from like the least to my best favorite. So for the first one, it's going to be Blood Hunters number 2. And yes, the Hulk is on the cover. And with that being the thing, you would have thought this would probably be better. So this is like an anthology series with the last issue and this issue having 3 short stories. They don't really, there's the people that did it: Andrews, Nocenti, Schultz, Linz, Baldian, Chang, Diaz, Tartaglia, and Mayalo. Yeah, I really couldn't find too much where they were written for which one did what in what stories, so they're just kind of all on the cover. These stories may be fun, but you really at this point do not need to read them at all for the main Blood Hunt event. The first one is about the Hulk, Banner being picked on when he was a kid, reflecting the vampires picking on the Hulk. Okay. The next story was with Kate Hawkeye, and a Dante Malik. I guess he's a vampire hunter. This is the first time I've ever really encountered him before, but he kills some people. They're like teamed up, and then he kills some people, and she's like, "Oh, you're bad, so now I gotta hunt you." And so at the end of the little story, she's hunting Dante, who was her ally. I don't know if there's like a romance thing going on there. Maybe that's just me watching too much Vampire Diaries and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I don't know. But yeah, and then the last story is with Elsa Bloodstone and Dagger versus a vamped out Yelena Belova, the Black Widow, or the second Black Widow, if you've seen the movie. Then Dagger. This was actually a continuation of the first issue, but still, I guess she tries to use her dagger powers, her light powers, to heal Yelena. It doesn't work. There's this big revelation of, oh my god, it didn't work. Is this really going to tie into the main Blood Hunt story? Not really sure. Other than that, you really don't need to read these. The first issue was a lot more just kind of fun stories. Yeah, so anyway, that's Blood Hunters number 2. Next one, a lot better, thankfully, Blood Hunt number 2. And we see the Avengers fighting some vampires there. This one, let me bring it into view. I've got my boy Constantine here helping me because it's a vampire thing. But yeah, so in this one, the Avengers get their rematch. This is by Jed McKay, and the art is by Pepe Larraz. And Blade is trying to find his daughter, who we see, I don't know if he knows, but we see is with Dracula. Here's a picture of that. So I didn't know Blade had a daughter. Totally cool with it. I actually really like the character. I think it's kind of cool. I'd like to see more of what Dracula and Blade's daughter are doing. I think that would have been a cool, I'm trying to point underneath the camera. That would have been a cool mini-series / bigger story. Maybe they'll do something with that later on. Don't know. But I would really like that part of the story. There's a rematch between the surviving Avengers because I guess Thor is still alive from the first issue. I think Black Panther is still dead from the first issue, or he's changed. And then there was another one, can't remember. Sorry, can't remember which Avenger that was. But basically, the Avengers have a rematch with the vampire Avengers called the Blood Coven. They figure out who they are. They figure out what their powers are and try to, figure out how to fight them. They're the Avengers. They're the best at what they do. And they sorely beat the crap out of the Blood Coven. And they win the day. Then everybody's meeting up with Doctor Strange at Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum. And even though he's after the events of the first issue, he's still there in astral projection, even though his body is way messed up from Blade attacking him. And everybody's starting to try to figure out what to do to solve this big blood hunt, vampires ruling the night and the day event. And then something happens to Miles Morales, like the first issue that I kind of looked over and reviewed for you guys. Not going to tell you what happens at the end. You're going to have to read it. However, really enjoying the blood hunt storyline. Last issue for you. The best of the three, in my opinion, might be a little biased after you see who's in it. It is Midnight Suns Blood Hunt tie-in #1. And just looking at the cover, you probably know why it's one of my favorites. We got my boy there, the Ghost Rider. And most likely that on the cover there is Johnny Blaze. So, Blaze, I think, is the catalyst of this. This is written by Brian Hill, and the art is by Jermaine Peralta? I don't know. Brooklyn 995. Okay. Anyway, not that that's a big thing. However, Jermaine, there's like a thing over the A, Jermaine, not very sure, but I'm just going to say Jermaine. Anyway, so the beginning of it, Blade finds his disciples or his people that he trained to be vampire hunters and slaughters all of them. Then we see a character named Tulip, which I'm not sure if she was an original member of the Midnight Sun. So basically, well, sidebar, no research is done, only from memory. So we'll see if I even get anything of it right. In the 90s, there was a group that got together, kind of a dark Avengers style thing called the Midnight Suns, and they went after a being called Lilith to stop her from destroying the world, blah, 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 as hero groups do. Well, this character Tulip is trying to get the band back together to go after Blade. Try to figure out what's going on with Blade. But if need be, we're going to have to kill Blade, just so you're aware. So she's going around getting the band back together. She goes and gets she gets Johnny Blaze. She gets Danny Ketch, who is the current Ghost Rider. Johnny Blaze still has some of the power of the Ghost Rider in him. He uses a Hellfire shotgun. And then you turn the page, they're fighting some mercenaries, and oh my God, look at this art. That is why I love the writer. He's just on his motorcycle, flames on his head, flames on the tires, just drives right through. And this art by Jermaine Peralta is just sweet. I am loving this. I would also, once again, with my Dracula and Blade's daughter's, can't remember her name. Anyway, I would love to have a Midnight Suns with this guy drawing it. It is sweet. And also the writer, there's a scene where he's just like, look at me. Look at me. And she's like, no. Ah! Because, you know, the Ghost Rider penance stare. Super sweet. Love the art. Great stuff. Anyway, so that being said, there's a woman, Victoria Montessa, who is a daughter of Cthon, some demon entity. She is helping with an exorcism, super metal. I could see just listening to some 90s heavy metal, this stuff going on in the background. Really, really cool. Make this a badass ongoing. Let me tell you, I'm loving this team getting together, and the art is just really good. This was my favorite Blood Hunt so far. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. So please remember what your mom always said. If you're gonna be a dick, be a Grayson. And keep reading because these things are great. All right. Thanks, everybody. Good night.